Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode one of Brise's Tale in Karandrin role playing. I'm glad you all could join us. I'm super excited. This is our second character starting, and we're going to have a great time. My buddy Max is here to play Brise, a female adventurer.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Um, I've been playing with Kevin for a few years now, and this has been a really fun campaign, fun type of style. So I think you're in for a real treat, and you'll hopefully stick around for the whole time. I think you'll enjoy it.
He's optimistic. He's very optimistic. Go
I try.
terribly. We go terribly. Um, so um, we've already described the game and how it differs from
Dave, takes 1 second. While we're
from how from that was fantastic. How it
ready.
differs from other role playing games, but and you may not have seen that episode, so I'm just going to do a recap here. So Karandrin is a fantasy role playing game based on Rollmaster Second Edition. That's roughly the system we use, but as you'll soon learn, this isn't a system dependent world. I try to remove a great deal of the system from the players' thinking. I want them to think about it as a world. One of the bigger differences you'll see for our role players out there is that the instead of the episodic play that you might be used to for most sort of role playing games, instead, what I do here is a total sandbox, totally organic world. So, as opposed to being dropped into some sort of modular sort of adventure in which you're simply confronted with a mystery and you're there at the beginning of the mystery, so to speak, and then once it's over, it's just over. Here, you live day by day. The players find their own leads for adventures. They follow up on those adventurers or not. They can begin pursuing some sort of mystery. Um, and if they want to stop halfway through because it becomes too difficult, because something else catches their attention, then they're welcome to do that. Um, the um, the other aspect of this is that because it's an organic and sandbox world, they can make any decision they want, with one serious caveat. Each character is also provided a sheet of personality. And the sheet just basically tells them sort of their goals, their ambitions. They don't act like robots, like so much of role playing drives you to do. And so they can make any decision they want in the game, so long as it is not against their personality. Much role playing, traditional role playing, is played such that every character is going to min max themselves perfectly. But obviously, that's not realistic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be 50 pounds overweight. Humans do what they like to do, not what's best for them. And so that's something I require in this game. But you'll see how it differs. We're pretty far along in Brise's adventure. He's been playing for quite a while. Excuse me, I do that all the time. It is a female character, and so you'll see a lot of differences. But I hope you find the story compelling. I hope you find the style of gameplay compelling. And so Max is going to give you some information about the character, and going to give you some information about the about where Brise is in her story.
Yeah. So Brise has been adventuring for a few months now. I think what date are we on here? April 7th. Started adventuring on the 1st of March, or the 4th of March. So Brise comes from a moderately wealthy family. She's 18 years old. And instead of kind of being married off like a lot of her brothers and sisters, she ended up taking an interest in adventuring in the life of exploration, and she left at the age of 18 of her family to go and pursue this life. Her parents aren't alive anymore. They were killed when she was pretty young. She was mostly raised by the Mortova, which is the chief maid of their house, halfling chief maid. And from her, she developed a lot of their interest in lore and in stories, and especially one of her major interests, which is the cult of the Nine Stars, which is kind of a very extreme or narrow faith in this land. So that's one of her major interests. Some just general notes about Brise. She is very beautiful by very high by the standard of beauty in this world. She's very considered very beautiful. So she attracts the attention of a lot of people whenever she goes anywhere. A lot of people are confused why she's adventuring when she could live such a comfortable life in some rich husband's household, and she has to deal with that a lot. She is very interested in history, in sculpture, in the arts, and also in creatures, especially recording information about creatures and kind of discovering different types of creatures for the sake of understanding them from a from a documenting point of view.
Sort of for the
Yeah.
for people's future protection and that sort of thing.
Obtaining knowledge about these creatures to document and understand them, in case other people know about them, to be aware of them, to protect themselves from them, or just to know that they exist. A few other things. Let me see.
Do you find it, Max, at all distracting when I'm continually make mistakes on the caption I'm trying to post about Brise? Is that at all distracting?
Well, I'm reading off of a paper right here, so I can't see the.
Oh, good. That
stuff.
should be.
Make all the mistakes you want.
My God, this is like the fourth mistake I've made on the damn caption. I apologize to anyone who ever taught me English or language. Sweet God. Okay.
Actually, I'll move the stream over here so I can see them both. A few other small personality points. Brise tends to be very impatient. Also tends to be a little bit introverted, not one for parties or large gatherings or crowds. Would rather meet with people, one-on-one or in small groups. And pretty ambitious and pretty, what's the word here?
No pun intended on pretty, right?
Yeah, pretty, very pretty. She is pretty. She's very much likes things to go her own way. If things start to go out of hand or she starts to go with the flow, that's kind of upsetting, kind of like, no, we need to put things back to where they belong and back where I'm kind of in control or I understand the situation. So that's a little bit about Brise's personality. To talk about where she is in the story, let me pull up my little description here because there is a lot. Mentioned that left her family's estate in early March to lead a life of adventurer. It wasn't long until she became entangled in the affairs of a powerful and malevolent sorceress named Verilag, who had been sealed away in a millennial-old prison that Brise wandered across one day, accidentally somehow set part of her free. So now Brise is somehow part of Verilag's plans and is, for the most part, safe from her in that Verilag needs her to be alive. But obviously she doesn't want to help this evil old sorceress. So she is currently feigning loyalty to her whenever their paths cross, while seeking a way behind the scenes to kind of foil her plans, subvert the power she has in whatever plan she's trying to accomplish. Some of the options that have come across my path that I'm pursuing, or Brise's path, is to escape via a portal into another world entirely so that Verilag no longer has access to me. Certain natural beings in the Fae have come to me. These beings called the Trinidas and the Flower Children. Brise is in communication with to try to foil Verilag's plans, and also know that Verilag gets her power from a demon called Kralum, who is chained atop a volcano. That if we were to free or well, not destroy, but to free those binds to subvert her powers that way as well. And actually, one of the threads of that is the demon Kralum is I'm in communication with him through small. I'm in communication with him through his him taking the form of small creatures with the power that he has. So me talking with him, Brees talking with him to find a way to undo those bindings that are giving Verilag, they're allowing Verilag to siphon his power. So that, I know that's a lot, and I probably butchered a lot of it.
Well, there is a lot going on. Bruce's tale, we're beginning in a place that I know may be somewhat overwhelming for our new audience. But I hope you'll catch up, and we're going to be using this caption function, if I can spell things correctly, that to help you catch up to her particular narrative. You'll also find in the chat, I'll be occasionally reposting. Um, I'll occasionally be reposting links to Max's notes.
Yes.
You'll probably be able to see him update them live as we go. It is a very detailed game because you live day to day. You'll make contacts and this sort of thing, and so players tend to take a lot of notes. Even as a game master, I tend to take about 1 page of notes per day in the character's life.
And as you can already tell, Brees has only been adventuring for a little over a month and has already run into this much, amount of trouble and of this much detail. So it is definitely a very, very detail heavy game.
So in fact, talking about Kralum the demon and Verilag, who is the queen from around 5,500 years ago from our present setting, you were actually in conversation with Kralum when last we played offline, and you're actually talking to Kralum in the he was in the form of a sparrow, and
Right.
in the stables of this inn, and so sorry, drawing a blank here. But right now, that's sort of where you are. You had sort of you've got a couple of avenues going here, trying to solve this enormous problem of Verilag and her attempt to permanently escape her confinement, her centuries and centuries old confinement. One option is, as you've suggested, going and finding the volcano that the demon is trapped in. And then, by the rules of this universe, that demon will be thrown back into his own realm. Verilag will lose her power. And great, no longer really the empire-wide threat that she could otherwise be. The other option that you've played with is possibly simply traveling through a portal of some sort to a completely different realm where you could live out your life while Verilag searches in vain for you. The other option, which is literally our last option, is really, really bad. And what is that option, Max?
Oh, yes. That is to use a certain magical medallion that I have to incinerate myself if push comes to shove, and there is literally the fate of the world rests on my shoulders. Then that might be the only solution.
Right. Any form of Brise's death will basically end Verilag's threat. But
no pressure
whatsoever. And so Verlag visits periodically, Kralum visits periodically, and Brees and Max do their best to keep the two meetings separate and secret so that Verlag never suspects that Brees is working in conjunction with the demon Kralum. Add to this, we do have one other complication that may arise in this place. I doubt it'll arise in this play session, but it's worth mentioning now, and that is that there is a group of undead in the hilly region to the north that have heard of the threat of Verlag from Brees and have decided to take matters into their own hands, although we don't know what form that's going to take. And Brees is sort of allied with these two groups of fairy like creatures from those regions who are spying on this undead civilization and providing updates to Brees about their actions. And they meet periodically. And so there is a lot going on. This session concerns, where we are right now, concerns two basic issues. One is, of course, Brees is in the middle of a conversation with Kralum, toward the end of a conversation with Kralum, about possibilities trying to break the manacles that hold Kralum here. And the other is he just received word from a powerful sorceress named Prethnot, who was going to consider sending him to a different world for to look at this idea of this solution of escape. And her henchmen, her messengers are here waiting to meet with Brees in the inn once she finishes whatever tasks, once she's done talking to Kralum. They obviously don't know that she's going into a stable to talk to a sparrow, because that's how you get thrown into asylum. But so that's where we are. Brees has just sort of told the messengers from the sorcerer Prethnot, "Hey, give me just a minute. I've got a few things to take care of, but I'll be right with you." And Brees is walking back into the stable to discreetly have a conversation with this little bird that the demon Kralum has taken over.
Good summary. We're about 10 minutes in already.
Well, that's not bad. Well, we're almost 20 minutes in. Look at that. But that's fine. And we'll do, of course, obviously briefer updates for each session. And then probably every 5 or 6 episodes, we might do a series of bullet points and just post them for everybody. And you can catch up for a few minutes, and then we'll go into play. So that's another way we may be handling things in future streams. So this stream is going to be on every Wednesday at this time, barring my health problems. And
forever.
Right. Forever would be fine with me. But hey, I do want to thank everybody for being here. I do see we've got some chat going on, and that's lovely. Um, I'm wondering if Josh, if you would like to maybe text. Oh, my light went off. If you want to text Quinn for us and let him know that we're on board. Well, this light may not be the best one to purchase, is what I'm thinking now.
I see.
Well, it may just. Oh, look at that. That's great. All right. Well, that's enough of that. All right. Oh, that's okay. It was a good try.
We're both new to streaming.
That's right.
Well,
I did like that, but apparently it has a timer on it. This light we bought to give me a little more illumination.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I think that's a scratch, because it wasn't anything I did. It's just got a timer. It's the problem. That's so funny. It's a feature that is now a bug.
I know about those.
Yeah, I bet you do. So Brees is this is probably early morning, early April. They're in a city called Convergence, which is a city of in a Manish nation called Deaxia. At some point, we'll be able to show you maps and things like that to show you exactly where the action is taking place, but that'll have to come in later streams. But just trust me, it's a lovely city.
And a few ones right here,
Yeah.
right there.
Oh, that's right. If you look closely at the map,
Convergence of the three
the three nations right there. That's right. That's hilarious. God bless the power of a pointer.
PowerPoint power.
That's PowerPoint power. So you guys, you and Crowlum have been discussing a number of options, a number of things to investigate. And you were toward the end of your conversation when you were interrupted by
Yes.
Prethnot's men arriving. So you return to the stable.
Right. I tell them I'll be there with you guys in one moment. Return
Yeah.
to the stable to talk with Crowlum.
Um,
Finish the conversation.
Right. Roll for me.
Certainly. 24.
So there's definitely a couple of people about. They seem to be just stable boys, stable lads, working on working in there. So you know that you need to be closer to Crowlum to be able to sort of just basically whisper. So people don't think you're crazy just talking to yourself. Although God knows Karen will tell you I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So you walk in there.
Yeah, I'll try to find the sparrow in the rafters and kind of mosey on over there. Try to get out of the view of any of the people around.
Right.
Boys.
And before this conversation begins, something I didn't discuss in the last in our first stream with Josh's character. That would be Ganry's tale. For those of you who haven't followed that one yet, I forgot to mention that one of the odd things that I introduced, I added to role playing in Karandrin is the miracle roll. And I forgot to mention that. And, I've been a bad game master for Josh in as much as we rarely even think of it. But I always pressure you to do it. So a miracle roll is once a session, each player can ask a single question about, do I find a huge, whatever magical, miraculous thing they want to happen, does it happen? We roll percentile dice, sort of. It's open-ended D100 in Karandrin, and if you get a double aught, it comes true no matter what it is. And
Adore, I have ideas for miracle rolls. I have a few.
Oh, you do?
I do. I'll echo there. So not to worry about that.
So whenever you want, obviously, Max, whenever you want, you can take advantage of that. So you walk back in. The sparrow lands right by a stall, very near to you, and says to you in a low voice, "Who were those guys? They were clearly looking for you. I sensed it."
They are some people that I'm talking with. Some of the contacts I've made to try to learn more about evading Verilag's power. what's the word? Subverting Verlag's power. I mentioned him before. I was making headway with certain contacts to talk to you, Kevin. So I just kind of bring that up again. Like, these are the people I've been talking with. I'm trying to trade with them a rare item to get either some money or influence. And it seems they've got some information for me.
Well, good. I don't think we need to keep you from them much longer. You've not told them everything. We've discussed the danger of doing that. Verlag definitively has the ability to rip a human mind apart. You've been discreet.
I have, as much as I. Yes, I have. Of course. What do you take me for?
a fool, but a beautiful fool.
Just because I'm pretty doesn't mean I'm a.
That's right.
That
don't
rule
hate me because I'm beautiful.
does not apply in this role-playing world.
That's right. You had been discussing your attempt to find Kralum's actual prison. That is the specific volcano that he is trapped above.
Right.
And you had mentioned various ways of doing it. He warned you that he couldn't help because the one thing that the volcano will most certainly be guarded against is demons themselves.
Right.
And so he can't risk going there.
And he also described that he has already tried to summon his own demons, his own followers, to free him, and they've all been annihilated. So
right.
That is
and this was that when he was originally imprisoned, many centuries ago. So he says, what was his plan? He had mentioned what he thought he should do. I think he was going to wait to see the outcome of some of your. Oh, that's right. Because you had talked to a gentleman of the name Adabir, an older wizard who had much experience in demons. And Adabir suggested that you try to find Kralum, his actual prison, somewhere in the goblin nation of Narguz, we believe, which is to the northeast of your present location. And if using his arts, if you could siphon more power from Kralum, then it might give you more defenses against Verlag, but also give you enough strength to consider breaking the chains yourself in some way. Right. And so you're in talks with Adabir about maybe trying to, he and his household will move. He will use his contacts in the Goblin Nation and sort of establish a base. And you guys can begin that. You've, of course, kept Kralum not entirely in the loop. So Kralum was amenable to the plan. And now it's and he was going to wait to see if that came into fruition.
Yes.
And so
by the way, Kevin, it says you're echoing a bit.
Yeah. I just sort of tweaked the mic. We'll see if that does it. We'll see if that fixes it. But thanks for pointing that out.
It's still echoing as of 1 minute ago. But.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to keep playing around with it.
Okay.
But thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
So I'm eventually just move this mic all the way like that. Is that better, everybody? Is that fine? So funny. My background is so black you can barely tell the mic is there.
Yeah, it's kind of invisible until you
Yeah.
move.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it a little further out of the way, but hopefully that'll help things. So Crowlem says, when should we meet next then to see if this plan of Adabir is going to resolve itself?
Uh, I believe we should meet in a week's time. By then, we'll know if Adabir is. He'll have his things taken care of. I have a few more contacts that he wants me to meet with in the next couple of days, and so I think on the 14th we can meet again and make a final decision, or at least decide more what avenue we want to pursue.
A week then, here in
Yes.
the stables, early morning.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
I will continue to see what lore I can find here in the city regarding the smithing of metals um, to release me from the prison. If we can find what arts were used to bind these, um, to bind me, then we might be able to free me.
Right.
But I will
And
see you in a week.
yes. And then out of game, the other possibility avenue we're pursuing with Crowlem is the creatures, which I don't think I have the name of the creatures still, but there are creatures that can consume metal, that actually eat metal, that are found deep within the ground, and they're
Right.
intelligent and speak our language. And Brise came across one and actually conversed with it, and
Right.
essentially made kind of acquaintances with this large creature. And if
Right.
we could summon one of these creatures, bring it to the mountain, and it could possibly eat through the metal shackles as well.
And this was a large sort of I mean like a 40, 50 foot long sort of bulbous centipede like creature
Right.
um, that we know that eats metal, and they reside in an underground area of this world called the Unmouth. Um, and so that's right. That's another plan, is to maybe go down there and see if they can somehow convince one of these creatures to become entangled in this horrible but world-threatening scheme. Um, so, um, um, so yeah, I don't know what to do about the Echo Gang. We're just going to have to write it out, I think.
I turned my volume down. It could be me. It's hard to tell whose it is, if it's Echo. So we'll see if it pops up again.
Well, I can adjust both our input volumes
Sure. So maybe turn
down.
mine down a little.
I had turned mine down. I had turned both of ours up because I felt that Josh and I were a little low last stream.
Hmm.
Like I had to bump up I want people to be able to hear us very comfortably at 50% volume. That's my goal. And I had a, um, um, I felt, when I was testing our last stream, it felt like we were too low. So I've knocked this down about 5%. We'll see if that takes the edge off. Um, but in any case, so Crown says he'll see you in a week. I should make a note of that. He's going to go research smithing. Um, I should write that down like that. There we go. All right. So now that leaves you going and talking to Prethnot's men
Yes.
to she has rejected helping you based on your offer of this immensely powerful crossbow that you found. And but you had offered to help her in any other way you could. She gave you
Right.
of a list of things to examine, and to try to help her with in terms of her own researches. And you've had a little bit of success here and there with a few items on that list.
Right.
So two of the men, two of her guards are still waiting out by the coach. They've been brought drinks by their companion who's waiting inside. Um, they watch you with the hunger of men who look at young women, and you ignore them and,
Good.
and walk inside the Tea and Loaf, which is the inn you're staying at, of course. And and um, and you find the gentleman sitting there, very near the door. Um, Roll for me.
38.
And roll again for me.
82.
He is armed, and he is making no bones about it.
Right. Should note that in Convergence, arms are, well, not illegal, but I guess they are illegal.
Well,
bringing of arms into the city is illegal unless
right.
special.
Right. They check you at the three gates that this is a walled city, a triangular series of walls, or set of walls. Really not a series, is it? And so at every gate, each of the three gates, everyone is checked for weapons. And if you bring weapons into the city, or if you have weapons at the gate, you basically have to check them in. They give you like a coat check. And sure, some of them go missing, but whose fault is that? Not the guards. They're certainly not selling them on the street. That'd be ridiculous.
Lucky for me, I know teleportation magic, so
right. You can just hop in and out. You dirty.
Pretty easy.
So, and of course, if you're found with a weapon, the easiest cheat is just to say, "Well, I bought it here." So it's a very lax enforcement. But the city was built as a symbol of peace, and so that tradition holds, however sloppily. You go take a seat. He's got a short sword laying straight up across the table.
Okay.
He's
grab it off the table.
Hey, money, And so, oh, look at that. I could make the map really large. That's interesting. I could make your share screen really large. People could see the map, but that's all right. We'll wait to do that next time. We got to find a better way of doing this, but we'll work on all that in future streams. But anyway, roll for me.
35.
Clearly a quality weapon, though how good is difficult to tell, but I mean it's not an average blade. All right, Mr. Max, you take a seat. He gives you a physically amorous look, checks you up and down as you sit, and he says, "What about my master's list? What do you have to tell her?"
Okay, before I tell this guy anything, I want to know. Well,
And did you make a note last time we played that he did return the crossbow to you?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure you had it noted. I would hate for you to misplace something.
I'm not going to misplace that crossbow.
I would hate to have to mock you at the beginning of every stream from here on because you lost a multi-$1,000.
What are we talking about again? So I'm going to look at this guy, and I want to know what Prethnot has basically been able to help me with. So how do I word, this?
How do you mean? Can you hear the helicopter in the background?
I can. There's something going on back there. Oh, it's
Yeah,
gone.
helicopter passing overhead.
They finally got you, Kevin. Finally.
I know, right? If I have to run, then I won't. And you just seem to get tackled by SWAT. Um,
So my worry with these guys is I just tell them, what I have on the list, what I've discovered, and it's not really that impressive. And then they kind of just, you know, um, I don't really have a good position. Is there a way I can, how would I kind of word that better? Like, could I see, I guess I can't see, Prethnot herself. She's probably too busy.
right.
I
And
mean, I could just start off with, it's like, well, what I've found might be better if I told her herself.
oh, interesting. You want to try to leverage a meeting.
Right. It'd be the stuff that I found might take a while to talk about. It might be best if I spoke with her directly. I definitely have a lot of information, especially on the Habrir, the what are they again? They're the discs with the angelic being printed on them.
Right. And these are, for our audience, these are points of interest for Prethnot in her research. And so one was these heavy wooden discs, about 4 foot across. Um, um, this is they're found like embedded in the ground, are they not? Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, they're found embedded in the ground. And they have, for one reason or another, been for one reason or another, they have been they're a point of interest for Prethnot in her studies. Um, now I'm gonna do a mea culpa here, and that is that in my own sense of white privilege, I've made Karandrin a very white world. I just have. And of course, it was just 30 years ago when I started doing this. And so, one of the things I'm trying to do in moving forward is to introduce characters, races, cultures, all of that sort of thing that reflect other earthbound races, ethnicities, and things like that. So, this is one attempt at doing that, in which, in this instance, these heavy wooden discs, they have a multi-winged, dark-skinned, angelic creature depicted flying among clouds. And um, and so it's that's one of her points of interest is these discs. We don't know why. Um, so
So I just tell them that I found quite a bit about these discs, and I would be more comfortable telling her directly. It's a lot of information,
right,
to go over. Don't want to lose any specifics.
right. Well, make a roll.
23.
Make another roll.
Okay. 32.
Well, you're really knocking it out of the park, I gotta say.
Well, it's a palindrome, so I mean, I got to get something for that, right?
What is a numerical?
Is that like a critical, on one of the tables or something?
Yeah, critically bad, apparently.
His head just explodes.
Right. What's your no, I was gonna ask you. What was I gonna ask you? Shoot, I forget. Hardly matters. So, one of the things I used to do when Josh and I would play just over Skype is I would like consult a piece of paper, right? And it would have some insult to Josh written on the back. That's one of my favorite gags to do. Let me just look at this, Josh. Hang on a minute, and it would just, say Josh sucks or whatever. Oh my Lord. Josh just suggested the discs are bulging. Man, that is so true. Wait, what?
Like, I don't get it. Like, disc. Okay.
Oh, a
I get it
bulging
now.
disc, a spine. That's so dumb. Whenever Josh posts, I have to assume it's sexual.
Do we need to ban Josh every time?
Um, I don't see. I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah.
You know what's so weird is I can't copy text. I was going to repost our notes text, but I can't. I can show it. Let's see how this works. I'm gonna show it. That's
Oh,
okay.
that is interesting. No, no new lines.
It's so weird, but I can't copy it. I can block. I can
Oh, you
reply
can't
to it.
copy from that. Yeah, it's like a password field. They don't allow you to copy from password fields. And that.
It's so dumb. Um, that's so irritating. Okay, fine.
When Josh had bulging discs, I thought of like your vertebrae. And if you have a
Right. That's clearly
disc.
the reference he was making. But I just immediately with Josh, I just immediately
Well, no,
go
because then you just whatever. Then the next thing he said was obviously
right. So here you go. I'm going to post our donations and our notes and our
yeah.
character stuff there again.
All those links or copy and paste them.
Right. Um, so I wonder if I can put it in our private chat. I wonder if I can copy our private chat stuff. Let me see. It looks like I can. So I'm going to post them there so I can just get to them quickly. So forgive me for sending this to you, Max, since you know all this. All right.
All right.
So he's a guy who's hard to read. You're trying to get a sense of how to approach this. You just decided to go at it straight and say, look, I'd much rather talk to her. He looks at you very flatly, very unimpressed. And he says, Prethnot values her time. I'm not here to play games. I'm her servant, not yours.
Kevin, how long does a charm spell last?
Last several
10
minutes.
minutes a level. Crap.
Yeah,
If it lasted for a day, that would be great. But
right. Well,
charm, he just like walks back to Prethnot and then like, wait, what am I doing here?
maybe you charm him and you convince him to just take you immediately.
Oh yeah.
So
Fair.
hopefully it'll last the ride there, right?
How long did it take the last time I went to her warehouse? That may not be the same place, but just
Right.
as a gauge, was that like an hour ride?
It's it's going to be. But again, people don't have our modern sense of time. So I don't know. It's really going to be borderline. You think?
I see. Yeah, I don't know how long exactly the charm spell lasts, and I don't know how long exactly it took to get there. So,
Right. Hey Josh, if while you're watching, would you mind, buddy, just testing out our links to Max's stuff just to double check that they work for us on this first stream? And just you can text me if you'd prefer. You don't have to use the chat.
let's think here. Yeah, I don't want to get on their bad side because if Prethnot can still help me, and I end up charming her servant, and it doesn't work out, then definitely dug myself into a hole.
Right. Burn a bridge.
So let me just again, he's hard to read, but again, I'll just say it's like, well, can I at least have your promise that what I tell you, you'll tell her in full faith, right? And if she finds it useful, if she feels obligated to reach out to me, she will. Can I at least know that?
Roll for me.
34. Excellent.
Doing great, buddy. That's your high roll for the evening.
Yeah, man.
I guess you got one higher, didn't you? You got one higher.
I got a 35. Yeah.
He says. He says there is no circumstances under which I will not report fully to my mistress.
I don't like that use of double negative there.
Under which not never, that I will not ever not.
Just say I will speak to her. Okay.
You have my word.
Okay.
It's more than my employment's worth.
Tells me he will report to Prathnon, but it is more. Okay, well then I guess I got nothing to lose except just telling him what I know. So, I won't mention that I found out about the Habrir from Clarin. Obviously, I'll leave that out. I'll just say what I know about it. All the details he gave me in that letter.
Why don't you spell that out for our audience then? What was learned about these 4 foot discs, 4 foot wide discs, wooden discs that are mounted in the ground, set into the ground, I guess.
So I've learned that these mountain discs. I know that learned that the angelic beings on them are called Habrir, Habrir, is what they're referred to. They're associated with some long past faith that has disappeared. They tend to be prevalent to the discs in temple ruins along the southern coast of the southern wilds. And there is a journal from 5,000 years ago that was discovered, which describes seeing depictions of the beings, the Habrir. I can't remember if the depictions were on the disc or like on walls or somewhere else, but the journal says there were depictions of them described as a dark-skinned southern people. So yeah, I think I had this kind of mixed up. So a dark-skinned southern people along the coast, and then these beings were associated with them, affiliated with them, possibly their faith from over 5,000 years ago. Right. The expedition that journal was from was a 20-ship expedition to circumnavigate the continent, which ended in kind of disastrously. They lost all but 2 ships.
Why don't you point for our audience to that southern coast of the Southern Wilds?
Right there.
Yeah, that whole region. The game is called Karandrin, and technically that is actually the name of the continent. That's how most cultures refer to the entire continent. We decided to name the whole game after the continent. Oh, that's cool. You can draw in there. That's
Yeah.
cool. And the name Karandrin for the name for the game and the continent actually came from a combination of my wife's name Karen and my brother's name Andrew. Andrew was a huge player of the game, and he just loved it. And so he died in 2017. So just sort of in memory of him, we decided to finally give this game that we've been playing forever a name. And so that's the name we decided to come up with. So he listens, and he actually takes out parchment and takes out pen and ink, quill and ink, and he's actually making notes. And he looks at you and he's like, "What else?"
So that's all I know. Well, that's what I discovered about the
Right.
discs.
Right.
I have a letter of introduction to an old elven man named Olden, who lives outside of town, who's known to have a large library on botanical findings. I think, was it just on botany or on different plants?
Right.
Said to have a large library with a lot of books on botany, and which might have some information on the hennerback, and the other one was this the purple herb.
So
And
describe for our audience
Yeah.
the hinterback.
Scrolling back up through my notes.
No, I've got it. I've got it. If you don't, I've got it right here. Would that be easier?
Yes, you give it, because I don't know where it is.
So a hinterback is a tree that Prethnot is researching. It's a species of tree. And the exceptional thing about it, and I guess I should back up a little bit and say Prethnot has a reputation for being just an expert in traveling to other worlds. This tree is remarkable in that it grows world to world. It somehow travels and plants itself, spreads itself from different planes of existence. And so, understandably, it's of great interest to Prethnot how um, a natural organism, it's very can accomplish this. Otherwise, what would otherwise just be a magical sort of feat. Very slow growing, resembles a pine tree, but not coned. Um, can grow to over 400 feet high, so around your sort of sequoia, Douglas fir sort of height, and grows generally in hills and mountains. It seems to prefer those. And so the other one you were going to describe, I guess, is the other one you're hoping to find information on. You get a lead on possibly is the runner's vine.
Right. So those two might be available in that library, large botanical library.
Right. So he's got a lead on that. And the runner's vine for our audience is an an herb from another world. It seems to grow right in this region and further north. That it somehow has found root here. Um, and she is looking for samples of it.
And location is even better.
Right. To actually find a growing region of it is what Prethnot is after. And again, Brise is hoping to gain access to this very extensive botanical library and be able to win the favor of Prethnot and get out of this jam with Verilag. What else do you have to tell our little henchman here?
Right. The only other thing, so there's the library, and then there is the, let me make sure I get this right here. 1 second, I need to find, because I know there is a book on the Hennerback that is currently checked out. Yes. So in a library, I'm not sure where the library is. It's a
This is that high end, that wealthy guy's private library that he opens on per pay basis.
Yes.
Well beyond the reach of the average citizen.
Yeah.
And one of his wealthy friends has taken the book out of the library, but it does purport to describe the location of some of the great trees, these otherworldly trees called the Hennerback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I'll tell him, like, I couldn't, it was checked out by one of the master's close friends, but I'm sure a woman of such powers as Prethnot would have no trouble tracking that down.
Right. Or murdering for it, whatever she wants to do, really. Yeah. It's a very loose policy of, okay. Well, he nods. He looks at you expectantly to see if there's anything else.
And I said, that's all I've been able to find out. And I think, how long has it been, actually? Just
how do you mean? How long has it been? The conversation?
Since I met her, Prethnot, since she gave me the list. It's been a week, I think.
Let me check my notes.
It's out of curiosity for I don't even know if that's a
right. Just for context.
April 2nd. Oh, so it's been 5 days, and I've gone all.
Yeah, so you're close. Yeah.
Yeah, just for I'll just even say if you give me more time, I can certainly find out more.
He tells you, you certainly haven't, you certainly aren't going to lose any points with her by continuing to investigate. Um, but that's, entirely up to you. Your dealings with her are your business. But we'll report this immediately. Can we leave? Can we expect you to be here? Leave messages for you here at this inn?
Yes, that'll be good.
Do you need to mention to him that you might be gone in a week?
Uh, yeah, I guess fair. Yeah, good point. I'll tell him. In a week I might be departing from the city for a time.
But I guess you could leave note with the priest Clarin, right?
True.
Who's your contact with? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So if it is, you do leave word here, and if it's a week later, then also leave word with Clarin.
Right.
And we can try to reach out to him.
Right. He makes a note of that as well. I mean, you can tell. Why don't you roll? We should, make use of these skills. I know.
Boom. That's a 54. Above average.
You're moving on up, which may be a reference that's too old for you. But there is definitively a sense of fastidiousness about him, a sense of duty. He takes his obligations to her very seriously, and so you feel a little more, encouraged that he's going to follow his, that he's going to, follow his duties to the letter.
All right.
So this might be, it makes me roll for me. That's what I should do. Instead of playing
15 back down 15, again.
You're a big dummy, but you're also kind of nice. Well, what about, would you consider, and given who your character is, would you consider bribing him? Just giving him a nice thank you to ingratiate yourself with him.
No. I think I would. I would be fine with that. But what would be the effectiveness of it? Like is.
Well, just as with any bribe.
Right. But I mean, how much would it have to be judged by his appearance? That's what I'm saying. Is it going to be like 100 gold or?
It's going to be sizable.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's risking. All right. So really, it's just trying to get. You're just trying to ingratiate yourself with him. You're just trying to ingratiate yourself with him so that he sort of gives your messages more weight, more,
Yeah. Well, I'll just say, thank you very much for the time. If there's any way I could repay you.
Well, first of all, you're a beautiful woman talking to a man.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't ever just leave it out like that.
Oh, okay. Good point.
I mean, Kelly did that one time, and it's not.
Well, let me think. Thank you.
The last time she visited a truck stop, I'll tell you that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hope that. How would I word it? Then.
I mean.
I hope that.
Have you pushed out the idea of just dropping money on the table?
Here's what I was gonna put my hand on my coin pouch. Just move my hand in my coin pouch.
You kids and your euphemisms.
Talking. No, literally, like
I know.
Gosh darn it, Kevin.
dirty man.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll say, I hope we can, continue this discussion. I hope this will come to, fruition. And if there's anything I can do to motivate that.
Sure. Hopefully Prethnot will still find me of use.
Yeah.
Jingle, kind of a thing. Well, I mean, he says, I, anything might help your circumstances.
I'll give him
Um,
one copper piece.
oh, that's hilarious. Well, you said anything, and now I'm testing the ground.
Anything helps.
Yeah,
Here's enough food to like get you to the bus stop. Enough
right,
money to the
right.
bus.
So it's yeah for our audience, about 3 copper will get you a meal, or a glass of wine. That's what 2 or 3 copper will get you. 1 gold, which is 1,000 copper, will get you a basic, decently made sword. Um, so, what do you want to drop on the table there?
Let's give him 5 pieces of gold.
I'm thinking you think higher would be better.
Higher? Okay. I will say it's hard to,
I
yeah. It's hard
understand.
to
That's
under,
why I have to sort of intervene on behalf of your character, right? Because it's
right.
understandable that Max wouldn't know.
Well, how about 20?
Okay. Um, yeah, you leave him a little stack there. He says, much appreciated. He says, I hope we're in touch. Um, I guess he would probably ask you when you expect to um, um, have more word back from visiting the botanical library.
Okay. In a week's time, I'll tell him, why don't we, I'll definitely have word back on the 13th, we'll say.
Very well. Um, and of course, as always, you can send messages through Clarin. Um, but if you leave word for us here, I will make it a point to check back on the 13th, other duties permitting.
Okay.
So he stands, um, gives you a little bow, and out he walks. Um,
I didn't get his name, did I?
no.
Okay.
Would you like to have tried to get his name?
Yes. Just also to take it better in my notes.
Yeah,
or
no.
or if you want, can we just call him something in the notes? Such prep notes coachman. But I'll try to get his name first of all, yeah.
Huh. I generally just go by the name Iron, like the metal.
Okay.
So note I'm going to leave for myself. I made it plural. I don't know why. All right.
Good stuff.
So out he goes. It is now mid-morning for the purpose of your notes. What's on your other list? What's on sort of your agenda for the rest of the day?
Well, do need to meet with the Trinidas today. So I
Hello.
guess
Sorry, I was going to say welcome, Claw the Hedgehog. That's a fun username, Claw
Claude,
the Hedgehog.
greetings.
So, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Max.
It's fine.
Just hang up. It's bastard.
End this stream.
That's right.
So I'm supposed to be meeting the Trinidas today, or the Trinidas are supposed to be meeting me today. So what I might do is definitely reserve an hour or two just in my room alone.
Sure.
So gotta make a note for that. Also, let me right now I had the tea and loaf reserved. I had a room until the 7th, which is today. So I'm gonna go and just throw down another throw a handful of coins at him for 7 more days. So it's 3 coppers a night I have here.
Right. Okay. That's
So
great. So you've got, yeah. So now update your thing.
board until the 14th. That would be 3 times 7.
21.
That is 5 copper.
That is, I will add 500 gold. That's what this place pays me to stay here.
100 gold pieces.
Right.
These inns are getting more expensive, and the minimum wage doesn't go up.
I know, that's
This
right.
fantasy world sucks.
Let me tell you a study that my buddy told me about the other day, and that is that so it used to be that the minimum wage was linked to production, and it was the Reagan
Right.
administration that kind of decoupled that relationship, and that
Okay.
and that thereafter, you saw really the number of billionaires rise and so on, but of course, wages otherwise stagnated.
Right.
But so if it had remained linked with production, that is the productiveness of the American worker, the
Right.
minimum wage should be $25 an hour.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that does not surprise me. It's
That
been a
is
long. We made a lot of improvements to
right.
a lot more
Um,
industries and
so
things.
I just thought that was mind blowing. But so anyway, so gain your room for another week. Head back up to your room. I don't know why I always say inns have two. Like I always say, head back up to your room every time, even if the inn has one floor. I always say up to the room.
Yeah, you kind of just picture it with the staircase for some reason.
I don't know why I do that.
Too.
So you go back up to your room and just kind of hang out. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll just read for as long as my patience allows until I
Right.
get.
What's your? What are you going to be reading?
That's a good question. Got a lot to read. Let's focus on my tome. Let's read some of my tomes.
And you're reading. In this game, in this world system, a tome is a spell book that you study to learn spells. Once you learn them, you generally go sell the tome or exchange it for another to keep learning more spells. So, what tome are you reading right now? Oh, is it
I'm reading.
Way of the Spirit?
Yeah, how do people want to see the spell? They probably can't really see it, but
No.
all these spells here, it has 10 spells that all are concern protecting the self from the forces of evil and the undead, seeing through illusions, and power against the unholy. That is the tome I'm studying right now. And I do have multiple tomes, but this one is the one I'm focused on.
Right. So you walk into your room, shut the door. Might as well bolt it, right? And roll for me.
94.
Nice job. That green glow is not typical
Okay.
in your room. So you swing
Are
the
you
door
sure?
shut and turn, and there are the flower children, um, and of course, resting on their floating vines is the Trinidos.
Righto.
So, for our audience, the Trinidos are a type of fae, a type of fairy. They are tiny, 1 inch high, winged deer. When they speak with a multi chorus musical voice. The flower children are just a nickname, really, that we sort of use. That is, um, um, they seem to be a form of fae or nature spirit. It's very hard to determine what they are. But they consist of a series of sort of large leaves and vines that sort of float across the ground. They usually meet in large communities and interlink. And Brise was sort of befriended by this group of strange plant-like um, um, of creatures, and they have at times attempted to shield Brise from harm.
Yeah,
Right,
there's kind of a sense of empathy they have, and a great like sympathy for the troubles that I'm going through, these powers that
right.
I'm playing with. So
But they don't really have a language. They don't really have an understanding of civilization or property, or so communication is very vague. It's more sort of a sense of they touch you and you send them impressions and they give you impressions. But at the moment, the the flower children who have the ability apparently to travel instantly enormous distances are partnering with the Trinidas um, and helping Brise by spying on this undead civilization that we mentioned. And the undead civilization are called the Philistine. They were wiped out millennia ago by nations, the Mannish nations that used to occupy these regions, and they are on the move, trying to find a way to defeat Verlag, who they see as um, an ancestor of their ancient foe. The problem is, of course, that Brees, Brees doesn't want any more complications in her attempt to free herself from Verlag's scheme. And so here they are to give Brees an update on what they have spied the Philistine undead doing.
might be a good time to update the little banner with that.
Yes. Oh, I see. I see who's the boss now.
Just saying.
Oh, my God.
Just saying.
So, um, oh, of course.
Restream has little trophies, I guess, or automated things. So Restream just said, we've received 100 messages today through the Restream chat. So thank you everyone for your.
That's right. You guys are awesome. I love that you're giving each other shit because that always makes me
Yeah,
laugh.
it's pretty much all they're doing.
That's pretty much all
We'll
they're
take
doing. It's giving each other hell, unmitigated hell, I tell you.
Josh is trying to steal someone's boyfriend.
He does that every time. Oh man, I wish this were bigger. Or you know what? Let's admit my old age and put on my glasses. Let's do it.
Oh no, I'll take off my glasses.
Oh, that's to balance things out. Is that your intention there?
I think so, but I think I'm definitely the scales have tipped a little too far if I do that. So.
So, this would be an excellent time to stop for a moment and remind everyone on the channel to call Charlie a shrimp boss. So that's Charlie, Ley. Charlie is a shrimp boss. If everyone could just take a moment and post that, that would be fantastic.
Call Charlie the shrimp boss.
Thank you. That's right.
You know who we mean.
You know who we mean. And you know what? Since we do have Mr. Hedgehog here, let me. Oh, look, and we've got RPen79 here. It's fantastic. It's welcome to the link. And so, with some of our new people, I'm going to post again a link to Max's notes about his adventures to date, as well as a donation link and a link to Brise's character sheet. And so here's that information for everybody. Um, um, There you go. Charlie is a shrimp boss. It is so true. Um, um, so we'll start with this. Here's our little caption. There's so much to update. It's one of the reasons I wasn't certain it'd be a great idea to update the caption is because there's like 4 things to put in there. I
The
did.
four name drops. Yeah.
That's right. Um, Dadgum, my stupid S, my S key, everyone, is acting up. So if you see a problem with the S, assume that it's Max's. Um, so
I would
I'm,
like to order some sassafras. Can you make
that's
sure you type that
fantastic.
out?
I'm getting a weird error
Sassafras.
now. I can't. Interesting. I
I'll let
can't.
you update it.
I try to update it and it tells me it no longer exists. That's really irritating.
Mm.
Um,
We exceeded the limit of.
It's, I mean, I've been able to add others. So forgive me, guys. Let me just get this straight really quickly. Um,
Actually, do you think it's might be overdue for a break? Maybe we could.
oh,
Oh,
you know what? That's a great idea. Um,
take a
so
little minute.
yeah, everyone, we're gonna, take time and hop to Brise's notes and character sheet. Donate if you feel like it. Like, subscribe. We're going to take a brief break and get some more alcohol in us
A
and
breeze break. A breeze
a
break.
brief break. But yeah, we'll be we'll be back. We'll mute our mics and cameras so that we're not distracting you guys from continuing to chat and assassinate each other. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. And again, thanks for watching. But we'll be right back.
All right. See you soon.
I don't know where Max is.
Here I am.
Poor Max. Oh my God, there he is.
I was just sitting here this whole time, smiling at the camera.
That's right.
What were we doing again? What is this?
Uh,
This is a stream, right?
that's right.
Nope.
Right now,
You just slide.
buddy. Right. Transition us back. Thank you very much. You guys. All right, Kelly. And for honestly, to the whole world, that is not how you spell awe. Okay. The exclamation awe is just AW or lots of W's if you want to. I need to feed Max. I will not.
I'm so strong, though.
He is strong smelling. He really is. All right, so we're back. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us and hanging with us through the break. We'll probably be playing for another hour or so, and then Max, who has a legitimate life, needs to do other things with his life. So just a reminder, if you guys can let me know if you'd like me to post again the links to his character and stuff like that, then just let me know, and I'll keep occasionally posting. Eventually, we're going to have that automated. We don't have that up and running yet, but you can always order me around, and hopefully Max can help remind me about doing that too. So as we discussed. We sort of have three new entities here to introduce you to. There are the Philistan, which is this wiped out race.
Now undead.
Right. Who now basically haunt and occupy the large, the broad, hilly area north of the city of Convergence. And they have learned through Brise about this demon-powered sorceress Verilag and her rise to power, and they seek vengeance on her, even though it may jeopardize Brise's life. Oh, hey, Quinn's back. I hope Quinn is feeling better. Everybody, let's post love to Quinn and wish him a speedy recovery. He is struggling with health issues, and I think that all purposes for every type of community, including this one, is to express love. So, so the Philistan are this race now entirely undead that occupy the regions to the north. They have taken a more than comfortable attitude of aggressive action against Verilag, and that may throw all of Brise's plans to remain safe from Verilag into jeopardy. Spying on the Philistan and their activities are two Fae-like races, and I'll post captions about those here in just a minute. One is the Trinidos, an inch high, fairly powerful, it seems, inch high deer-like winged form. And the other is this more mysterious plant-like Fae, nature spirit sort of creature. Travels simply by floating and also by appearing instantly. Right. And they seem to have a special link with Brise. And they seem to be able to locate her practically anywhere in the world. Although she's not traveled all over the world, but quite an enormous amount of distance they've been able to cover very instantly. So here they are in her room at the Tea and Loaf Inn.
A note about the Philistan: you may think that as kind of antagonists as Verilag, they might be, might be an ally. And if you read through the notes, they were at some point working with Brise. But Brise came to the realization that their aggressiveness and their first of all, they're undead, and they have a general nature about them that is harmful in terms of just being working with them, actually associating with them is kind of frowned upon and kind of difficult. And that they are so aggressive and so full of hatred that it's possible they will simply use me, use Brise as a way to defeat Verilag if they find out that my death or my disappearance will cause her plans ruin. It's possible that they will just murder me. So I want to instead stay away from them, even though we are technically working towards the same goal. The way they're working towards it is dangerous to my well-being, it seems.
Right. So as you sort of recover, again, the familiar and sort of strange and beautiful multitude of that is the voice of the Trinidos comes through to you both orally, as in orally, and also into your mind, and uh, and they say, "Daughter of man, we come to again update you. What do you have to report?"
Well, yeah, out of game. I need to find out when I last met with them and what did I tell them. So give me one.
It had been 3 days ago because they're meeting with you every 3 days.
Oh, every 2 days.
Is it every 2?
Every other day. Yeah.
Every other day.
It's good that someone's keeping notes here.
Awkward.
Between you and me, our notes cover about 80% of everything. So.
I love your optimism.
Good enough.
80% seems radically high.
80% of detail. What did they say? Last time they were talking about things progressing in the valley, talking about the Trinidos, talking about the Philistan moving to more aggressive action. Definitely the consensus among them is that there needs to be action.
But they were at a loss as to what to do.
Still, right. But something will be done. They definitely they're at their kind of wits' end in that regard.
Right. Because finding Verilag, just like with you, finding Verilag even to ask her a question is difficult. You have some sort of link with her, having been the vehicle that freed her from her imprisonment in the lake to the west of Convergence.
Right.
On the coast there. So she has less difficulty finding you than you do finding her. But the Philistan, of course, have no way to find this single powerful entity who can appear at will across hundreds of miles.
Right.
So even though they are a large force of undead, they are at a loss as to how to exert force on her.
Right.
So there was one group of one group of Philistan that had the very one you met, in fact, Brise, that had supported your plan of sort of wait and see and let you try to handle things for now. The rest of the Trinidos clans are rejecting that notion. They want to take immediate action, but they have been stymied by an ability to locate Verilag and exert any sort of influence on her. And so that was their sort of last update, is that the one group of Philistan that had counseled moderation had sent envoys to the others trying to persuade them, and those were rejected. But fortunately, the question of what to do has stymied the Philistan armies enough that they've not taken any drastic action.
Yeah, you hear in other RPGs where they say armies of undead. This is an army of undead.
It really is.
ready to mobilize.
Right.
Notice, or at least with the intention to mobilize.
Right.
So I will tell the Trinidas that in the time that I since last saw them, I've been able to meet with a man named Adabir, and I will mention my meeting with him, that he possibly knows of a way to, because I don't know if I've told the Trinidas too much about Kralum in detail, or I think
Right.
I have. I know I have. It was a while ago, because I know they first sensed. Because I mentioned demons to them, and they gave me all those protections against demons, like the little packets, leaf packets that are supposed to destroy like weaker demons. They gave me those, so I know I've brought it up with them.
Right.
I don't know how detailed, but generally, the demon that gives Verilag her power, this man might be able to help. Send that demon back to its own realm, thus depriving her of that power.
Right.
And it doesn't, obviously won't help the issue with the Philistine, but it will possibly solve the whole problem with Verilag and her being a threat. So I've spoken with him. We are making plans to possibly a week's time, start the search for the location where the demon is held.
Right. And this is a gentleman named Adabir.
Yes. This
Right.
is the that we mentioned. So I tell them that. That's the big thing. I haven't made much progress with the plan to escape from this world through a portal. That is kind of had a little bit of a setback, but that's still an option. I'm still in communication with the person named Prethnot, and we'll see where that goes.
Right.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. And I will mention about the demon Aluktu as well, because so I'm trying to remember here, when did a lot of text going on back over there. I met the Trinidas on the 5th, right before Aluktu, actually. So I saw the Trinidas last. Immediately after that was that whole terrible scene with Aluktu appearing, and then us escaping from him, not really escaping from him.
Right. I should modify this. I don't know why.
Then, because that wasn't in the discussion. But if they bring it up, then I'll have to.
So wait. So you're saying you need to? I don't know why I called him merely a creature when I really should call him a demon.
Yeah. So I won't bring that up with them because it wasn't kind of a pertinent topic. But if they bring it up, then I can discuss it.
Right.
Plus, I don't want to insinuate that I'm planning on asking favors from a demon to these fey creatures.
Well, roll for me.
54.
What you've noticed, your own observations about the Trinidas and just their approach to things is very respectful. That is, they don't, they don't
make judgments.
Yeah, they're not going to stop you from doing anything.
Right.
They usually just say, well, that seems an unwise course of action, right? I mean, that's as much as they intervene. They're never going to just stop you. The Trinidas do not seem intent on thwarting your will, and so I don't think you should worry about that.
Well, right, but I won't bring it up because it's not a relevant point until it, I guess, becomes one, right? if I need their
Right.
help with it. So I'll just tell them the progress I've made with not Clarin, with Adabir, and the where I'm at with Prethnot and the idea of escaping to another world. So that's what I tell them.
Okay. I'm wondering, because we did cover a lot of stuff. I want to give our audience a moment if they've got any questions, just because we've gone over a lot of stuff. Um, if there's any questions about what's going on, to take a moment to post.
To please keep them to yourself.
That's right. Keep your damn questions to your dirty selves. I don't know what accent that was supposed to be. It was a muddled accent, but
It was a Theaxian accent.
that's right. But of course, if not, we'll just keep going, of course. And like I said, the notes and things like that. I just reposted again the links to the character sheets and the notes for the campaign so far. Although I don't use the word campaign, because it's really not a campaign; it's simply a story. Um, but yeah, if our audience has questions, hey, just feel free to post them, and Max and I will try to keep an eye out for them. And I'm sure other loved ones will text me and say, "Hey, you're missing questions," and yell at me.
Yeah. FYI, Kevin, I can't see much of the chat, like the way my screen is, because I've got like PowerPoint and
you've got a lot of things up.
So I can see like the top three, the last three ones.
Right.
So up to you. Yeah, it doesn't have a good feature for scrolling through the chat restream.
Right. Yeah, I do have a better way of doing that over here. It's kind of interesting. It's almost like I need you to have almost because I do have a pretty good way I can see things on my side.
Right.
Pretty easy. So we'll just keep going. We'll just kind of keep an eye out. But the Trinitas sort of take in what you're saying, and there's sort of a moment of consideration. And they say, certainly, they say the finding a portal to a new realm certainly would be advantageous. I'm sorry that they have hit a setback. The Philistine, fortunately, are still stymied about what to do. The local group in the nearest valley to us, the ones you first met, have apparently given up any attempt to talk the other groups out of taking action,
Right.
and have now resigned themselves to join.
Okay.
But it seems like the only form of action left to them is to send out scouts far and wide.
Right.
I fear that for any human or elf or other mortal living within the hill lands, that their encounter with these undead creatures are about to get much, much more frequent.
Yes, yeah.
We still don't know how far the Philistine can travel outside of the hill lands. But obviously, the further they go, the more danger there will be to your people and similar groups. We will continue to watch them quietly and discreetly.
Did any update on their possible plan to produce a power like Verilag nearby the valley to what's the word? To kind of deter them, as if like in their plan, because that was the last discussion we had.
Oh, that's right. There was a discussion of
what's the progress? Yeah, if they were to produce a power, like in the midst of their discussion of how do they take down Verilag, the Trinitas and the Flower Children create this immense power, this presence, as if Verlag is there, it would frighten them, or at least give them enough cause for concern to delay longer or to kind of reconsider.
Now, my recollection was that their suggestion was to actually tell Verlag directly that the Philistine are arrayed against her.
No, that was my suggestion, but that was kind of more risky because if she just wanders in there, because I've spoken with the Philistine as well about taking Verlag down. And if she wanders in there and tears up the place, in the process she could discover that I've been disloyal to her. So I think that was a plan I suggested to them, and they said that was risky. And then the last thing I discussed with them was their plan to create that ruse.
To do some sort of major show of force that is secretly them, and they think it's something to do with Verlag.
Right. To deter them.
Right. The difficulty, they tell you, that they have found is that to create enough power to exert the force they would need to truly frighten the Philistine would need to be within very close proximity to the valley that the Trinidas live in. Because while we are tremendously powerful by your measure, our range is very narrow. Our home valley is where we have the most power. And most of the large forces are many valleys over.
Right.
But we're working on it. So there has been some discussion of how we might do it should they come nearer. Even if they were to come within one valley's distance, we feel like we might be able to strike a blow sufficient in power to suggest that Verlag herself was intervening. And if you are content that we continue those plans, then we will lay in wait for an opportunity to act. But of course, we will not do so if you feel like it would make the situation worse or jeopardize you.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to continue with that plan. To at least determine how feasible it can be, and to prepare it, if we might need it.
Then we will proceed as quickly as we can to ready that blow. And when it strikes, I'm afraid the best course of action will be to try to find you wherever in the world and let you know.
Understood.
All right, then. If there is nothing else, then we will see you in 2 days.
I have a thing for them, possible miracle roll here. I want to bring up with them a luck 2, and if they have any way of protecting against him, or either that, or an even better one would be a way to persuade him, persuade a demon. I don't know. I guess I have a favor from you. I guess the best thing would be a way they could help me with getting him to do a favor for me. And he's already indebted to me, so I think it would be the probably get a protection from his soul shear, something like that.
Well, remember, you have a means of protection against.
Oh, do I?
against. You remember, just you need to tell him as soon as you see him to restrain his corrupting
Oh,
influence.
that's right.
So
Oh,
then let me modify your suggestion,
okay.
and that is, what if you asked, what if a luck two were the blow against the army?
Oh, oh, that too. Well, remember though, we discussed what what's his face. Crown suggests that Aluktu's real uh, optimal usage would be for finding resources
Sure.
or finding
No, I grant you all that. I'm just throwing
right.
it out there.
Right.
Do you want to run it by the Trinidas?
I will.
Of course,
Yeah.
um, do do you suggest it? Do you put it into
So I will suggest that you know, I'll mention if it's difficult for you to produce enough power to do such a thing. I do know there is a demon who, by accident, now is indebted to me and will is intent on me is it owes me a favor and is intent on me repaying it. And I've been thinking of a way, and this might just be that way to send him in your stead to as a threat of power, as if Verilag sent him.
wasn't it the Trinidas who initially gave you the update, the initially gave you an explanation of Aluktu and
Maybe. Let me look
his
up.
abilities? Um, Boy, I've got to take a lot of notes when we're done with this session. I have fallen behind. I got to hop back to the chat too to see what people are talking about.
Wait, what?
Because it should only been a couple of days ago, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right.
So it
What did I
is.
tell them? They told me about a luck too.
So
Right.
you can
Okay.
actually say that you can actually say, do you think Aluktu?
That exact demon. Yeah. That shadow servant. Do you think he would be a sufficient force to serve for the plan you have?
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, our blow would be more devastating. Our range is so limited, and uh, uh, we only have circumstance to bring it to fruition. Um, so certainly, this shadow servant can travel anywhere and deliver an enormous blow. I can't say the creature will be unharmed, um, and hopefully that will not bring its wrath on you. But yes,
Okay. Um, I will ask them then. Do you think it would be wise to
good
deliver
night,
that?
Kelly. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think it would be wise to do that as soon as possible, or do you think we should wait longer to see how the Philistine act? You know, when would be the right time to strike if we were to go with that route?
It would be ideal to strike a large force It would also be ideal if they had no idea where the attack came from. I saw your wavy brows there, Pooch Hugger. We could go, my partner and I, and return to the Hilllands and see if there is a force still gathered of sufficient size to strike. Then you can explain to Aluktu to strike the largest force he can find.
Make a show of it, just destroy a bunch of them, and yeah, that would work. And I think, can they speak to me from a distance, or would they have to again like show up here?
No, they have to show back up here. Otherwise, of course, your updates would just come through, essentially some form of telepathy. That doesn't.
I thought it's kind of like, it's a business meeting. We should be in person, kind of like this. We could just be voices, but we gotta
it's the fantasy version of Zoom is what you're hoping for.
Teleport and talk, and then teleport away.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point, though.
So they say if you'll wait here, we should be back in very short order.
Okay.
So as is the case with the flower children, portal of green light opens. The Trinidas lands on the flower child, and then the pair just float through the portal, and it closes. So you spend some time, just sort of probably just pacing your room like mad.
Yeah, that's information I want right now.
Right. Yeah, it's really driving you crazy. Roll for me.
18. Is that how well I'm dealing with it?
Yes. So I mean, you're just miserable, and you're stressed out, and you're bouncing, and you're.
What do I like to do when I'm stressed? Do I stress eat?
Maybe you're a cutter. We're just going to make you just a horrible example of modern society, and you're a cutter.
I take out my halberd.
Right. Right.
No.
Now, and a reminder, you still haven't used your miracle roll. Also,
I haven't. Yeah, that would have been the place. Why don't we say?
Well, honestly, it's a good idea. Like, it's not so unlikely as to require a miracle roll. You know what I mean?
Well, right. I mean, the miracle roll could just be they come back and say it's good to go. Let's do it. But it's not a miracle per se. So
right.
Could say they come back, something has happened, and the Philistine are no longer fighting them, gathering their forces. Some other ideas come up among them, and they realize they need to wait longer, or possibly that Verilag is too much of a threat to take on. That's the role I want to do.
Right. Well, I mean, I say we just see what happens, and then you might consider a better.
You don't think that's a good one? Just we don't have to worry about this problem at all. That it's actually fizzled out somehow.
Well, because if they come back with bad news, you might think of a better way to use it.
I know, but Kevin, this is the discussion we have. This is why it's so tough for me to do the miracle roll, because there's always a better way to use it.
All right, fine. All right,
but
so
you're right. We're
going to do the miracle roll. I need everyone on chat to give us a drum roll. And so your miracle roll is what?
Miracle roll that in the short time they've come back, that they've left in Decene, there's actually been a development in the Philistan, and they are no longer mobilizing, and in fact reconsidering.
So they have ceased their plans to intervene.
Yes, they've
right?
ceased the plan. In short, yeah.
All right, so everybody on chat, I need a drum roll from you, and Max should start shaking his dice to
Drum roll sound
emphasize. That's right. That's right. Man, no one's drum rolling. Bunch of lazy bastards is what we got on here.
the lag.
It's either the lag, or they're just taunting you, hoping to give you a callus. You know.
There's
So,
some
there
drum.
we go. Thank you,
Thank you.
Changeling Blaze.
And
All right, so let's do it. Slap it on there.
58.
58 had to be a double ought. We didn't get it, but thank you for everyone who gave us a drum roll. And let's. I don't know why Jeremy posted 23. I don't know.
Jeremy.
Unless Jeremy is rolling for you as well. That would be hilarious if everyone got to roll for the miracle roll and
then if
anybody who
one
got
person
100.
gets 100.
That would be funny.
Well, someone just obviously put 100 in the chat, please, and then I can get the miracle.
That's right.
101.
That's right. Well, seeing Jeremy there, I'm gonna post our note links again. You know, it's weird. My chat sometimes auto scrolls down, and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know why that would be. So, gang, I'm going to post this again. This is the links to donate, but also the links to the character stuff. Wait, did it not post? What did I do? Weird. What happened? I'm going to try that again. Huh.
Pooch Hugger rolled 30,000, Kevin.
Well, that is exceptional.
I think Verilag just had a heart attack.
That's it. And you got out of this mess without anybody else helping you. This is really weird. It won't post. I can't
Being
post.
evil apparently is bad for your health. It causes high blood pressure.
Well, gang, look, if I post this 27 times, I apologize. When I hit post, it's not doing anything.
That's weird.
That is really weird. Maybe I've blocked myself from my own channel. Maybe that's...
Or maybe the restream has blocked you from...
That's right. Too many foul words. Well, that's really irritating. Well, maybe it'll come back. But if you're interested, or if other people, if you're able to repost the notes and donate link, please do so for our new audience members, and they can go and see. They can go and click and look at Max's notes and look at his actor character and personality and stuff like that. So if you wouldn't mind, if someone could try to repost that, that'd be great, because I'm having some sort of technical problem over here. No, sorry, your miracle roll didn't pan out, but in the, with your character's impatience, the maddening minutes go by, and finally, again, the green light of a portal opens, and out float from this sort of semi-liquid domain in which the flower child seemed to draw nutrients and draw sustenance. They float in, and there again, the Trinidas, these little tiny 1-inch high deer-like creatures, are perched on them, and they the music of their voice comes through to you, both through the ear and through the mind, and they say, "We have found several such groups. Apparently, they are posting gatherings of their forces at the ends of their valleys, so that they might send a force at any time should a scout come back with favorable news." And having spied Verilag, there are numerous ones to choose from, several hundred each.
Wow. Okay.
Good news, not so good news. Kind
Hundreds
of
of
a mix.
hundreds of I don't know. An undead army doesn't sound as bad as 100 undead platoons. So
Yeah, right. I mean, so let's say there's 5 or 6 group of Philistines. They each have 2 forces, like at either end of their various valleys, right? Of several hundred. I mean, that's getting to be legitimately an army.
right.
Um, so
Well, I mean that sounds good. I can try my best to call a luck to and then direct him
yeah, but
to
you
send them out.
can't call him in the boundaries of the city.
Well, yes, that's the next step, Kevin.
No, I was just
You know,
reminding you. I mean, Alexei
oh, what
is
kind of
such
fool
a
do you think I
rough
am? I'll
one.
call him in the town plaza where there's a big open space.
That's interesting. I can't post anything.
Weird.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to comment on. I'm gonna have to talk to them about that.
Talk to Restream.
So I just did a test. I just typed in test.
Yeah.
Couldn't post it. So
I'll
if
put it
anyone could repost,
Maybe if we quit the session, it'll be better later.
um, weird. I wonder why that is. Huh? That's really annoying. And it's not like we're going super long. We're only about
Yeah.
15 minutes longer than what we did with Josh.
If you really want, you could just go to YouTube because that's where everyone seems to be and just post it, manually there. And
Right.
you won't get it on Twitch, but it will be the
Right. Thing is that I'm worried about. I worry about, like, I have to mute stuff and all that. So, but I've got somebody working on it. I'm sure in the community. Anyway, so so
So I think I will try to do that next.
okay.
We'll find a place once I'm done with the Trinidas and
Right. Well, they say, if so I guess you need to tell them that you're going to do it,
yeah,
like, immediately.
yeah,
Oh
we're
my
gonna do
God, this is going to be exciting. This is
it.
quite a development. Of course, I guess we won't know. Um, oh, thank you, Obi-Wan Karen, for posting at least part of it. And hopefully she'll be able to get the using the Force. Hopefully Obi-Wan Karen will be able to post
Obi-Wan Karen. That's funny.
the character links and things like that for our new viewers. But um,
Also, I forgot here. I do have a silver necklace that grants resistance to soul damage. So I got to remember I have
I
that.
had remembered that, but I wasn't going to embarrass you
Okay.
about that. I
Okay.
really wasn't. Well, we
Well, if
talked.
anyone wants to see in the notes, I have about like 50 things in my inventory, so I'm bound to forget some of them.
That's
Just
right.
like a person would in real life. I'm
I would.
acting in character.
That's right.
Whenever I forget something, it's in character.
Right. Right.
Like my name. If I forget my character's name, if I forget their gender.
Aren't I Bryce? I forget your gender sometimes, and like it is one of the more difficult challenges I've had, um, as a game master is, I mean, playing with females I've done before, but to have such a female with such a stellar physical beauty, and people really should react to you differently.
Right.
And that's been a real challenge for me as a game master because, I mean, you should get basically guys, bending over backwards to do little things for you to win your favor. And it's hard for me to keep that in mind. Um, Even though I was guilty of that when I was a young man and before I was very happily married. So, but it's been a challenge as a game master just to remember that people really do treat people of that beauty differently. And you can
Right.
find even studies online that talk about that. But um, So, all right. So, they say, if you are prepared to do this, then we'll alert our scouts throughout the region and to keep an eye out and to brace themselves for the appearance of a shadow servant of considerable power.
Yeah. Approved shadow servant.
So, and then you'll at least be shut of Electu, right? He'll
Right.
be
Right.
out of the picture. So, um, all righty. So, they say, um, They'll find you, of course, to give you the update after a luck 2 attacks. And and so they open their portal. The green light spills through, and they float through, and it seals again.
Alrighty.
So now what? What is Brise's thought? What's next?
What's next is to do this. So I kind of, this would actually be a good way to maybe end the session because we got like 14, 20 more minutes to
Right.
try to finish off with this. So want to summon him, obviously, someplace that's abandoned. To summon him, I mean, last time I did it by having a dream, by having a nightmare.
Right. There does, much like Verilag, for some reason, there's
Right.
a connection, maybe because of a connection to Verilag, there was a connection to you and this other demon, which
Right.
apparently Verilag was drawing toward her to try to recruit as a minion.
Right.
Um,
So my plan then is to try to cast sleep on myself. and
well, no, I think you were told, I think Adabir told you that just concentrating sufficiently intensely on a luck 2 should
yeah,
summon.
I mean, I was thinking I could try that. I didn't know if it was even going to work. I guess I could just try it anyway. It wouldn't.
Right. And what does it cost you? I mean, it's
Right.
not like it costs you magical power or health or anything else. So.
Right. Okay. I'll try that. In worst case, I could just try to, go to sleep or put myself to sleep.
Right. It's amazing that you're awake, given that you're listening to my stream. I mean, it's
listen to what?
It's remarkable that Brie. Right. What was that again? What? That's why you play this so late at night, so you can just nod off later.
Yeah, exactly. I fall asleep to this.
It's
this game. So yeah, we'll try to teleport somewhere abandoned.
All
and
right.
try to summon him.
So, what's your thought on where to go?
Well, Owl Obelisk in the Vetch. I don't know how comfortable I feel with being in the valley.
The Vetch, we haven't used the term very much just because I thought I'd skip it for the evening. But yeah, the Vetch is the hill lands to the north, largely uninhabited.
And in some of those valleys are where the Philistine reside.
Right.
Would it be a bad idea just to go there and try to summon him? I might be right within the.
It's a risk. It's a risk, but it certainly saves him having to search.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's worth it because I think it should be quick anyway.
Right.
I'll be close to them, but it should be not take too long to interact with him.
Okay. So what space in the Vetch do you still have a memory of?
So the obelisk, those black obelisks that I found near where I found the crossbow at.
Right.
These obelisks with owls and birds carved into them.
Right. So
houses.
Right. So why don't you roll? Let's see how you feel about how good at the moment your memory is of that exact location. Because at least in this game, teleporting requires a good memory of the spot. You can't teleport. You can teleport to someplace you can see, and you can teleport to someplace you've visited before and memorized. But you can't just teleport otherwise. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 28.
It's possible. But you don't feel like it's super likely.
Okay, how do I feel then about the Dwarven Forge at Brenneloth? That forge I stayed at for a couple days in that town outside the Dwarven Hold.
Roll her up.
59.
Okay. Pretty good chance.
hopefully I'll end up somewhere near there anyway. Do I have any potions that help me with
This would be an excellent time to look at your potions.
vigor, greater protection, bone mending, sleep, attunement, arcane augmentation? I'm going to take one of those right now. It's going to make this teleport count.
What's
Healing.
the arcane augmentation? What does it do?
Plus 10 to all spell casting.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to down one of those right now, and just within my room, let's teleport there. I'll just make sure I have all my adventuring gear on me. Let me see. What am I bringing? Yeah, just leave the treasures and stuff that I have in this sack behind.
Do you have a duration written down on that potion?
No.
Okay.
Forever.
Okay, well, that's it. That is it. I should hop to the thing, but I think, just for the sake of expediency, let's say you've got it for, what would make it really useful? Let's say 15 rounds of plus 10 to all your spell casting. And for those of you who don't know, whereas Dungeons and Dragons uses a plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 basis, Rollmaster and in many of its variants, they use plus 5, plus 10, plus 15, and in fact go much higher. So plus 10 is pretty decent. So you have 15 rounds of plus 10 spell casting. Obviously, this will count as the first round. You drink it, erase that thing. If you want to record the empty vial, do so. If not, just erase it and we'll consider it discarded. And then let's roll.
Swallow in my hand.
Let's roll to cast, and then let's roll to aim.
69 to cast.
No problem. Well cast spell. And I may be, by the way, introducing soon a new type of spell success and failure system. Okay. It won't really affect you terribly. Like, you'll still just roll for things, but it'll give us a variety of consequences for failure. Okay. That'll be a little more nuanced than what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Sorry. And now roll to, aim yourself.
64.
All right. That is more than sufficient. There's a flash of light in the room, and you appear in this abandoned ancient dwarven town of Brenneloth. Roll to orient yourself.
Yeah. I just remembered the snail folk that are here, but I don't think they ever really came near the forge. So
no, they were pretty far away.
Okay. It's like, hey guys, I'm back. You said you would stay away.
Right. You did kind of promise, you did, but hey, you're only gonna be here for a minute. It's like just parking in a handicapped space. If you're an asshole, really, is what it's like. So, thanks for the drum roll, Changeling. That's fantastic. I do like this. I like that we involve the guys. That really cracks me up. Doing drum rolls for big rolls and things like that. That's a hoot. I'm going to keep doing that. By the same token, doing well wishes and things like that. I think that's a great use of the chat and the community. Yeah. You are right. So you appear. You're fairly with it. This is sort of for our mechanically minded people, it's sort of an orientation roll. And so you appear, and you're immediately sort of get your bearings. You wouldn't be caught flat-footed if something were to happen to you immediately. Fairly empty, fairly quiet. As much as you remember it. So you're standing now on this abandoned, half overgrown street, and your back is to the old forge in town that you used as a base of operations for a couple of days. Right. All right, you're there. You sort of listen, right? You want to make sure there's nothing, not just visually around, but
right. Hike out of town, up the hill maybe a little bit. I think just get away from the town.
Okay.
Just in case don't want to attract. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I might as well just stay away from the town though, in case there's anyone in there right there. Like maybe 5
How
minutes.
long do you want to? I mean, how far you want to go in
5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if you want to put a note about Brenneloth there.
put
No.
a note about Brinneloff.
Yeah, like where it is, like it's a town I visited,
Oh, you mean a caption?
caption. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't, I don't know. I'm
yeah. Hey,
struggling
cool.
to term
Oh, you know
that.
what? Oh, wait, I can do that. That's right. I can do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I always forget. I get. I don't know
Town that
why
I
I get.
visited, abandoned dwarven town that I visited a couple weeks back. Um,
Oh, there's my typo. Damn it. That's a bad one for a former book editor to make. I hate that one.
Former book editor. Yeah, right.
I know no one should believe that, given that stupid mistake. Okay. Um, so the going is easy. You make really good time. Um, oh, and I've lost his name. While Brise was here before, he met a large bird-like humanoid made out of metal.
Yeah.
Um, and as you hike sort of up the hill out of the valley where the town lies, there in the air is that creature. I forget his name.
Hmm. Oh, Theandolin.
Theandolin. That's right. Um,
Or my name for him, the Andolin.
right. That was a little confusing. We had a little confusion between player and game master.
No mortal enemies. It's fine.
That's right. And so, but um, uh, the Angelin is sort of very mysterious. We don't know exactly what his origins are. He does sort of, we get a sense that he's sort of guarding the city in a sense, but he is what most people would consider sort of a creature of good. Um, and but he doesn't spot you, and he's flying from your facing and into town. Um,
Okay.
so that
I'll
is a
get his
problem,
attention.
isn't it?
What was that?
That is going to be a problem then if you summon a luck two.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wait let's
Sure,
wait 10 minutes,
several
see if
minutes.
he lands.
Right. Um, I'm trying to send another test. Oop. It just deletes my messages. Oh, interesting. I can choose to send a text specifically to one platform or another.
Oh,
Uh, Gang, hang on just a second. I'm trying to send one to just, oops, to just YouTube. Okay, that one worked. All right, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try again just to see if I can send to both platforms. Sorry. All right, it seems like I'm
maybe
back up and running.
we're back.
All right, great. I don't know what that was. Um, so I'll post this real quick. And just you want to look at Um, there we go. So again, there's just the character notes and the character sheet, personality, and if you wish to donate. All right, so you wait several minutes. Um, um, you could continue hiking.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Well, I'll continue hiking as long as the city's in view anyway. Just keep going, distancing.
Well, it's
Walk.
not gonna, as thickly wooded as the area is. That's not going to take any time to
Oh,
lose sight of the city.
true.
The thing is, it's going to take you way too long to hike over the brow of the hill.
Right.
Um, I
Well,
mean,
just
you
tell.
remember how rough this whole area is. Um, Without the benefit of roads, it's just very difficult to get anywhere. If you could go down to the next valley, it would be great because the hills itself might hide a Luck 2 from view. But it would be a shame if the Andalin attempted to intervene and was slain.
Yeah.
Um,
So okay, well in that case, I'll just again
wait,
wait. Oh,
you can see other hills.
right. It could teleport to them. I was gonna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'll just wait 10 minutes, see if the Andalin lands. If he doesn't, then
Well,
we'll.
but remember that a Luck 2 may. Well, of course, if a Luck 2 appears on the ground, I guess he will be hidden
Right.
from view. So if you just find a clearing, I guess,
Exactly.
hopefully he won't appear in the air.
Right.
All right, so no problem. Yes, you do find a clearing, a little small.
Okay.
But you back in, straight up to the edge of the woods, right? Because you're not
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and you have, and you're ready to, um, um, to say, hey, don't, to turn down, to repress your soul shear, your corrupting aura of demonic power. Um, you, um, so you feel like you're as good as you can be. Is there anything you want in your hands?
No, I don't think so. I kind of want to. I want to make at least make an impression. I don't want to have a shield in my hand, so no potions or herbs or anything either. So
Okay.
it's ready to go.
All right, gang. So you just concentrate on bringing a luck to you.
A luck
Um,
to you,
that's
bring
right.
him to you. Sing his song.
Um, all right, roll it up.
Ooh, that's an 18.
You don't feel like you're getting anywhere until there is that shrieking, screaming sound.
Oh man.
And the air twists into dark tendrils. The plants around you begin to wither and gray. Why is this thing not spraying?
No, I don't want to do this anymore.
Another drum roll. I really appreciate that change. Like that's a hoot. I think you've given us a new standard. We're going to start doing this every stream. As we're going to start doing drum rolls for really big rolls
We
and
need
real
moderators and we
significant.
need drummer boys.
That's right. That's
Usually exclusive positions.
That's right. You can't do it. And we can tell by your placement of the drum icon whether you're off beat, and then you lose it. We'll strip you of that duty if you're ever off beat there. Uh, so all right. Luck 2 strides forth. These are very thick, bulky, clawed hands. You see, I guess I should hop over to the captions and post his description again. Um, and these two sort of broad, sort of football kind of shaped heads that are, probably 6 or 8 feet wide. These glowing yellow eyes, um, and it strides through. And the last time you saw this, his effect on the vegetation is much further away. Um, and I mean, you really see. I mean, you see arm thick limbs really begin just to shrink, just to
Mm.
twist. Um,
I'll say the first thing I'll say is turn off your what was the name for it?
Soul
Soul.
shear.
There's another name. I was gonna give.
Oh, that is, yeah. That's. I'm
Right.
sure you can find that in your notes because that was in your discussions with Adabir. He was
Right.
quite the
It might kind of surprise him more, which would be cool. You know,
um,
his Koektai.
oh, it was Kolakai.
Kowektai.
Kolakai.
Koektai, yeah.
Um,
Maybe it's Koektai. Oh, I think it's Koektai, yeah.
Kawektai. That's right.
Put away your Koektai.
One of its heads kind of cocks, and you figure that must be the Aluktu version of a shrug. And then visibly, light returns to the area. I mean, it didn't leave, but perceptibly, there was some sort of change that happens. Your heart stops pounding in your chest. You immediately feel more optimistic. You're like, just its presence crushes hope.
Mm.
Some of the plants begin to recover, except those directly beneath it. Um, and um, and it
How's it going?
that's what one says to great powerful creatures of death and destruction. What's up? What's
Well,
going on?
Brown told me
I'll hit you up with my phone. Okay. No, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I know he's not that big of a deal. He's powerful, but he's not, the big cheese of the demon world.
Well, yeah, but that's not, that's
He's
like
like,
saying
he's like a Gloucester,
there's a bigger tank out there. I'm not worried about this tank, you know.
Exactly. A
Um,
bigger tank just on top of a volcano.
um, there is in the other head, um, there is an entire cow hanging from its jaws,
Buddy.
and gore is dripping down it. You can see briefly. Well, I should just have you roll. Actually, roll for me.
96.
Roll again and add it. This is called an open-ended roll in Rollmaster.
43.
Okay.
139.
There is, if you had to guess, through there is it's some sort of untamed valley, and there's high grass throughout. Blood is abundantly clear. There's blood on much of the grass where it has slain this thing, and and there's flattened grass behind, and you're like, oh, it must be a wild herd. And of course, that flattened grass is where they stampeded as this thing came and descended upon them. But the grass is far too high. I mean, it's waist high, so
Right.
it's far too high for this to been, um, um, far too high for it to have been cultivated land, which is good. It means at least he's staying away from civilized areas.
Right.
Um, um, so so he says, You have summoned me. I felt your call. What service now do I owe you to settle our debt?
Yes. And I'll just get straight to it.
There was no yes or no question in that. And the other head holding the cow just shakes its head.
Okay, Judge Judy. Gee.
Oh, that's her sad. I'm concerned that you know a Judge Judy reference. That is, I'm concerned that you don't get out enough.
But my mom watches a lot of Judge Judy.
Oh my God, you should not have told me that. Oh my God. Next time I speak to your mother, I'm going to give her hell for that. Are your folks supposed to be watching tonight?
No. I told them this is kind of like a first test stream in that, but I offered them next week might be a good
Better.
time.
Well, of course they can go
I
back.
don't know. We might run into difficulties or all the expository stuff. So I feel like
Right.
it might be more of a groove.
Well, now she'll regret missing this and me mocking her for watching Judge Judy. What a shame. Oh, wait. I've got a great gag just for your mom. You're going to have her watch toward the end, right? Yeah, hang on. Damn gum, this keyboard. That's one of the things we're doing the fundraiser for, people. Get me another damn keyboard.
S key.
Jeez,
S key replaced.
Swear to God.
Gosh. I don't think we need a new keyboard. I think we just need a new typist.
Yeah, maybe a new game master. That's what really the fundraiser's for. Or a fundraiser to kill the old one.
Evict Kevin.
That's right.
Oh,
Here you go. How about that? That's just for your mom.
Pedantia.
You like that?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have called it self-righteous.
Also, you got us kicked off of Twitch and YouTube and Restream.
Self-righteous.
View count dropping. We're 7, 6, 5, 2, 1, 0.
Oh man, we got to get you off here. I'm sorry, we're keeping you late. I don't want to keep you late. All right.
Yeah. This is good though. This is good.
So you say yes to a non-yes or no question, and you kill a luck to just with your confusing statement. Like what the fuck? What? That's not what I asked.
All right, Electu, listen up. In the valleys of this area, there are undead beings known as Philistan who are gathering. We're gathering in forces, mobilizing forces. I need you to do a show of force to these. Maybe cause some.
Don't you mean just attack?
Just attack, sure. Show as much force as you can, and and break them up.
So you want him to hit all of them?
Well, okay, I'll tell him there are hundreds of them.
Hundreds of groups or hundreds of Philistan?
Hundreds of groups. Gosh darn it, Kevin, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm asking. So you feel like there's probably dozens of groups, each of which consist of hundreds of Philistan.
I'll tell him there are dozens of these groups of these undead, consisting of hundreds of them, and I want you to disrupt and attack as many as you can.
Okay, he's a demon. He's not that shocked. As he did the last time, just to be certain he knows your wishes, he rises into the air and sort of surprisingly sort of short but sort of ragged wings carry him up. And you get the sense that he's searching, he's sensing. Meanwhile, the other head is just gulping down the cow, and there's sort of a rain of gore coming down and splashing on the ground.
Try to dodge.
Well, he's not directly above you. Of course, he's above his previous location, but it is going to be pretty disgusting. So, he he lands. Woo! Jeez. Are you serious? I should put the Luck 2 post back up. Although I do like that Judge Judy one. That makes me does make me laugh. Um, so um, he lands. I shall destroy them. And we shall not see each other again, lest you wish to strike some bargain.
Agreed. Yes.
I swear to God, I'm putting that Judge Judy thing back up. The rending, shrieking, metallic scream of him opening a portal just crashes through the air again. And he strides through. And then the twisted fabric of nature mends itself and shuts. Even with the protections of that Adabir gave to you in that necklace, the weight of his presence still is lifted from you. Alaktu is simply a powerful creature. So now, are you staying to hear the results here? Are you going to return to your?
Yeah, I think I'm out of here. I want to linger in this spot. Also, Changeling Blaze wants to bargain with a Luck too.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a twin-headed deal there. It's a. So you're out of here? You're going to return to your room? Oh, we should have had you memorize your room. We'll assume that you've memorized your room, so that you can safely teleport back. So you were going to immediately teleport back and then wait for news. Okay. Let me roll.
Channeling Helm again.
All right, use your the coif.
What's the
chain
helm?
hood. Oh, is it a helm?
Oh,
I thought it was a coif.
Oh God! Oh God, Kevin.
Hey, what'd you roll, buddy?
5.
And this is how we do in rolling.
Why?
So rolling below a certain number in Rollmaster for many activities is considered a fumble. You know, some games call it a critical failure, but it means you have bad consequences from really messing up. Yeah, I like that. I trusted you. I didn't think you were lying about rolling a 5.
Oh, sorry. I actually rolled 100. My bad.
Oh yeah, I make that mistake too. That's funny. I just rolled a 5.
5 and 100. They're easy to confuse.
That's right. Well, I'm going to implement the new some of the new stuff right now, actually, because I kind of want to play around with it anyway. So obviously, casting spells is tiring, and so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to lighten up on just the deadliness of magic somewhat. So it does still produce quite a bang when you mess with magic, because magic needs to be dangerous for the user. It needs to be something that's costly. You do take a blow, just a searing flash of heat across you, and you're now you've lost 20 points. You take 20 points of damage.
Ow.
You're staggered, but and recall from your last one, you've lost 10 exhaustion because it's a 10th level spell.
Right.
now
Well,
you lost.
if I use the helm, I still get the exhaustion, right?
You do, because you're still having to channel the magic through you.
Gotcha. It's just the points I don't lose.
Right. So here's I think a better. This is one of the things we're going to be introducing um, is some different consequences, and that is you lose 30 exhaustion.
Oh, damn. Woo! I'm at
Uh,
45 out of 100, and it's like mid morning. Woo!
but you can rest to get those back. Hey, Changeling, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Have a good night. Be safe going home. And so you're sort of staggered. You're winded, obviously. You take a moment, um, and it's time to roll.
All right, I'll try again. 11. Okay.
Wow, what a finale to
Are you
this.
are you tricking with my dice? Do you not want the stream to end? Is that what
I
it is?
am, yeah. Oh man, it is late, man. I really would like to get you back and get you.
Well, it's the role. I don't mind dealing with the consequences.
Okay, I appreciate your. Every time I appreciate your integrity. You have an enormous amount of integrity when it comes to play. More so than Josh. So, you are really winded now. Another 20 exhaustion. Another 20 damage. Yeah. You see what Peach Hugger's saying? That Changeling was your good luck charm, and now you're bombing rolls left and right.
I didn't have his drum roll. That's why
I
we need to
know.
redo this all over. In fact, we need to wait till he gets back home and rejoins the stream.
That's right. Unfortunately, it's a 6-hour drive from his work, so it's a hell of a commute.
I can wait.
Yeah, you can wait. We do like an 8-hour stream waiting for Changeling to get back.
I just keep fumbling teleports like all the time.
Welcome to the Twiddling Thumb stream. All right, so you rest.
I mean, at this point, do I just want to like actually take a break and sit? Well, because I want to be out of here. I don't want to linger here where the demon was.
Well, presumably he will have several. I mean, you do have time to gather news in the sense that he's got several forces to confront.
No, my thing is like, what if the Andalin or something felt this guy's presence? Something else is going to be here in maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. If I take a nap, am I going to wake up swords at my throat?
Well, okay. Well, then do you wait? Do you do the real deep focus concentration thing, right?
Yeah, let's just use my focus. Actually, really counts.
All right. So you wait like the full minute. You are a little beat. You're certainly hurt as hell. I mean, it's just, you've just been thrown back and forth by this spell going off incorrectly. I mean, 2 fumbles in a row. Reminds me of Ganry. Anyway, so
is Josh secretly in the chat? Is
he? Well, he was less secretly so, but it is, it is kind of late his time. I don't know if he's still up and rolling, but all right. Well, let's see if you can competently get yourself back home.
All right, one more teleport. Here we go. 70. Oh, I saw a 0 and I was like, no. 70.
Nice job. 70. You definitely. Our pin 79 mocking you, sir. And wait, mocking me too. You go to hell, sir. You go to hell.
Makes my the stream just suddenly turns into 2 Kevins.
Unless, oh man. Ugh. Oh wait, I'm a luck too. We have 2 heads, and we just on different stream. I don't know how that would work. But all right, man. So now roll to aim to get you back to roll to keep your focus so that you know.
86.
Fantastic. You wake up. I should tell you that, right? You wake up on the floor, in your inn at least, and that's terrific. Um, oh God, that is so true. That is so true. Karen Manus Pennings. That sounds familiar. Oh, that's my wife. Um, I know her. And my wife, I know I've mentioned this in the last stream, but I'll probably try to mention it every time. So she designed our lovely background there. I mean, the map I drew, but she gave the font and everything. She gave us the whole design there. So much appreciated, my darling. Should you be watching unmuted. All right, you've made it back. And so, um,
Wonderful. Back in one piece.
So, you wait, and it's some minutes. You kind of, your impatience kind of has a hard time figuring out what it should do. Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, I imagine I'm exhausted though, so I don't mind just sitting around. And
right. In fact, why don't you roll? Because that's so. Remember to subtract another 10 exhaustion. So you've lost 30. Wait,
I'm
10,
at 15
and then
right
20,
now.
and then 30, and then 10.
Yes.
Good Lord, you are. Yeah, I mean, roll.
39.
Okay. That's not the question to ask. I hate asking questions in the wrong order. So, oh, thanks. You're good, baby. Thank you. She must be listening somewhere. I don't know where. Yeah. So I'm just kidding. She's right there. She's right. Wait, right over there. That's where she is. Yeah, that's right. What the hell is she doing in your house, Max? And tosses Brees into bed. That's funny. Well, thank you, Pooch Hugger. I'm gonna go cuddle with Brees. Poor darling, who's having a rough day. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. This is fascinating. When you wake up, you're sitting in a chair by the little table they provide with your room. This is no Econo Lodge. This is a wooden table. It's really nice. And your head is just on your chest, and and there is just the sound of music, very gently waking you up. Roll for me. This is crazy, dude.
61.
What was that 51?
61.
31.
61.
Oh, damn. Sorry, my bad.
6?
Oh, no, don't. Um, so, um, so, it is a Trinidos, tiny little deer-like creature, perched on, um, perched on your shoulder. It is apparently been trying to wake you, and it has, and um, you can't imagine a better alarm clock. I mean, you just wake with a feeling of peace,
Yeah.
and so on. Um, you've recovered 10 exhaustion.
Oh.
You're still really tired. Um, roll for me.
100.
Okay, roll again and add it. Not that it really matters at a
I
double.
know. I was like, meteor falls through the sky. 74.
Okay. Immediately, things become crystal clear that things are unusual. First, there's no sign of the flower child, that is the vegetable, the plant form of Fae or nature spirit that helps the Trinidas travel far beyond the confines of the Trinidas Valley. He's not around. That creature is not around at
Right.
all.
How did they get here?
The Trinidas immediately. You also, I should back up for give you the full note of information here. The You recognize that in those musical tones that were used to wake you through your mind and through your ears, there's definitively a discordant note, a note of worry, a note of concern. You turn to speak, and immediately the Trinidas lights off your shoulder and flutters to um, your bed and lands clearly hiding behind a bedpost.
Mm.
It says, "We must be brief. But what did you tell the shadow servant to do? Quickly now."
I told him about the forces of Philistan
Yes, 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 but
and that he should attack them.
all of them.
I said, as many as you can.
It attracted her attention. He slew all of the Philistan gathered in force. All of them.
Hey.
Like a shrieking black meteor, he descended again and again from the sky and laid them waste. At least those gathered hosts. There are still some, of course, who gathered in their ancient communities, now in ruins, and so on. As he rose from the last of the battles, she appeared. The woman creature Verilag appeared and severed him in twain.
Okay.
The Trinidas, because their voices are all feminine, but it's hard to really assign a gender to such an unusual creature. But clearly, the Trinidas bows its head, and a moment later, the portal opens, and out floats one of the flower children. The Trinidas says, "I must leave now before she arrives, in case she comes to question you." Immediately, as fast as you've seen them move, she darts to the shoulder, if you will, of the flower children. Immediately, the flower child turns and they depart. And you are left alone in your room, waiting, presumably, for the other shoe.
All right. Interesting conclusion.
Holy crap.
What did you roll?
184.
Oh my gosh. Damn it.
And then for Verilag's reaction, a 172.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You are lucky in as much as, at least as far as the Trinidas can determine, obviously, because they would have told you otherwise, there wasn't a conversation between a Luck 2 and Verilag.
Right.
Wow. Wow. So, especially given the hour, I think we should call it quits, my friend.
That's a
Um,
great place to leave off on, though. Really interesting how it's going to unfold next time.
yeah.
Are we like mid morning, late morning?
This point, resting, teleporting. Um,
Yeah, early
yeah,
afternoon.
I think it's only mid morning. Although you're probably going to sleep for the rest of the day,
Yeah, honestly.
as worn out as you are, unless of course you have a visitor in the form of Verilag.
Yep.
But that will have to wait till next week. Um, so it is left to us just to thank everybody. Um, um, we appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We appreciate the good-natured jibes and the drum roll. And as always, thanks to Judge Judy for making an appearance tonight. Um,
Yeah. Thanks everybody. It was good for your feedback. Reading your comments was fun, and hope we get more people even next time.
Absolutely. We really do appreciate all the love and all the fun comments, the drum roll and everything like that. Um, uh, we really couldn't do this without you, and um, it's uh, here. Here's Judge Judy one more time for everybody. Okay,
That was
but uh, and um, you guys make it special for us to be here. We're going to try to do this every Wednesday. As always, we'll give a bit of an update for all streaming buddies. Hey, make sure you spread the word. Tell them that we're a delightful pair of guys goofing off in a hopefully satisfying world.
despite the age disparity, we make a good couple.
We do make a good couple. I don't care what the courts say. Um, um, And so, but thank you all. We wish you all well. All the general stuff, right? Like, subscribe, donate if you feel like it. At least visit the donate page and look at the jokes I've placed in the donation amounts because they crack me up. But thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back next week. Thank you.
Right.